Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
Lotioning and oiling.
Bruh.
Lotioning and oiling.
I'm grown, man. I've been grown.
We are farmers.
Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
What's going on, everybody? Today's episode, we got some articles we're going to talk about and try our best to digest, talking about how nicotine is a neuroprotective. Nicotine is good for us. We'll tell you in the Burndown podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Burndown.
Yes, sir.
I am your co-host, Justin, a.k.a. The Dapper Cigar.
Oh, God, it was weird.
I know.
I'm your co-host, Eric, a.k.a. Dapper Cigar, Brother Cigar, Justin Heisig here.
If you're new to this channel, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, check out the website, burndownpodcast.com. Become a member, $5 a month. You get exclusive discounts and entered into monthly giveaways.
Yes.
Check out our cigar, The Blueprint. We got a couple boxes here on the table. Today's episode, we are talking about nicotine. So there is quite a few articles. We mentioned this in a previous episode of the podcast, how nicotine is what's called a neuroprotector. So what that means is it is protection against against your central nervous system.
Yeah, and it talks about how there's studies behind nicotine where it helps with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and helps with cognitive abilities and helps with focus. So there's some pretty hefty articles here that we printed out.
They're quite wordy.
Yeah, so we're not going to Jordan Peterson this episode. We're just going to use a lot of big words.
No. Listen, no knock on Jordan Peterson.
I love Jordan Peterson.
I love Jordan Peterson.
But sometimes I listen to him, I'm like, what is he saying?
This is how I'm gonna describe it. His vocabulary is quite extensive.
He's like an encyclopedia, like
and
walking.
You know, maybe listen, his vocabulary is a little bit above my understanding. Let's put it that way.
Our pay grade.
Okay, let's put it that way. He's a brilliant guy. But sometimes it's a little challenging to understand because of all the wordage. But
yeah, so no doubt.
Anyway, we have a couple of studies here, and like Eric said, they're quite extensive. I mean, this one's 13 pages. A lot of it's all the citations at the end. But we highlighted some good stuff for you. Yeah. We're going to talk about it, how nicotine's good for you and why it's good for you. But before we do, we need to light something up. Yeah. Because, man, it's been a hell of a... I didn't have power for fucking all day today. You had to struggle with this freaking hard drive shit.
Real quick, I was editing the Mason Musso Metro Station episode. I got it done like a week in advance. I was pumped up. And all of a sudden, my hard drive, my computer, it just started crashing. And then it just kept crashing and crashing and crashing. And files corrupt and files corrupt. And I spent more time trying to fix the problem and figure out what was going on than I was actually editing the podcast. So now, what is this? A week after I already did it, I have to redo it and get it in time.
It's brutal, man. It's brutal.
So we had to buy new hard drives. I have to transfer shit over. It sucks. Anyways, I'm lighting up a nice Oliva Serie V Churchill, maybe? Churchill. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty long, strong. Got the friction going on.
And this is I have to look up the size, but this is Arturo Fuente. This is a Gran Reserva, but I don't remember the size, so I have to look up the size. It is quite a unique size. Oh, is this the one right here? No way.
Oh, daddy.
No way. Is it the Lonsdale? Let me see. It is not 6.5 by 43. It is not. It doesn't really matter. But for let's see. No, it's not the Lonsdale. It's not the Spanish Lonsdale.
Is it really that big of a deal?
It's not. But
it doesn't matter what you think. So we got a couple other things on the table here. We got this ice contraption. We got some Luxardo cherries. We got a little spirit shaker. What do you call it?
That's just a shaker. Yeah. You know what's kind of interesting? I'm looking this up. It's one of those like weird shapes. It's long. It's probably about 7 inches, but it's got a tapered head. I don't remember the size, but as I'm looking it up, there's like fucking 20 different sizes of this. It's insane. But
it's ridiculous.
Anyways, I'm lighting that one up, and we got a little I actually took the ice out of it because I didn't want it to water down. But what we're drinking today, we got some Luxardo cherries.
Well, we'll just say this. The wives are away this weekend. So when the cat's away, the mice will play, ladies and gentlemen. And we will be certainly playing today and tonight, baby.
And what we got here is our martini glasses that we're chilling. And then we...
Oh, that's what you're doing.
Yeah, we keep them chilled. So what we're drinking today...
Wow.
Look at...
Look at that pour.
Well, I just want to make sure I have enough for both of us here.
Look at that pour. I got some extra bourbon here. I'll have to put this over on the side.
We are drinking...
It looks like iced tea.
Good old Manhattans, baby.
Damn. Give me one of those Luxardo cherries.
And we got to get these Luxardo cherries going.
Damn, this is the bee's knees right here.
The bees.
These are the legit cherries for the old fashions or
Yes.
Manhattan. What's the other one's called? What are the other cherries that most places use?
Maraschino. There you go. And actually, I'm gonna take one just to eat because these things are fucking delicious.
Bro, look at that! Oh my! Look at the juiciness.
Oh, bro,
Juicy fruit.
bro, I could. Shut up. Hold on. Shut up,
Bring it back,
bro. These. If you've never had
yeah.
these, you gotta spin it, bro. You gotta spin it.
Oh! I'm just looking at the gloop.
You gotta spin it.
Get some more gloop in
Oh,
there.
you want to get some more gloop? If you've never had Luxardo cherries,
Ooh. I'll try one.
they are. You've never had these?
No, I have them in a drink. I never actually eaten one right
Bro,
out
just
the jar.
eat one, dude. Right out the jar.
Yeah.
Bro, it
1,
is.
2, 3, go.
Bruh.
Wow. That tastes like fruit punch.
Bruh. Next
Damn.
level, right? Next level.
That is hella good. Wow. That's really good. The fruitness tastes like a good fruit punch. I don't think I've ever eaten that before, like straight out the jar. So we got our little Manhattans here. But a little bit of background. We talked about this on one episode a couple weeks ago. And then I remember actually seeing like a TikTok or an Instagram video from Two Bears, One Cave with Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer. And they had, what's his name on here? They had the Dr. Andrew Hubbard.
Dr. Emmett Brown.
Professor Andrew Huberman. And they made a clip where they say, like, nicotine's actually good for you. And there was a couple of people like, hey, you should watch this video, do an episode on it. And I was like, yeah, we're actually planning on doing it. So this clip also reignited this conversation. He's a neuroscientist, professor for neurobiology, psychiatric and behavioral sciences at Stanford University School of Medicine. He talks about how nicotine is a neuroprotective. Nicotine is great for us. Not that everyone should take it, but nicotine leads to heightened focus, improved memory, and it offsets neurodegeneration. Neurodegeneration, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's. And for the people who don't know what neurodegeneration is, because I certainly don't, because I had to Google it, it's the protective autophagy, A-T-O-P-H-Y, autophagy, progressive autophagy, which basically means like the waste away of cells, like cells are just dying off. And so the progressive autophagy and loss of function of neurons. So basically what's presented in Parkinson's and Alzheimer's.
So basically your brain's getting worse.
Fritz. Yeah, you're losing your memory. You're
losing your brain function.
Oh yeah.
So you're neurodegenerative, or what was the term? Neurodegeneration?
Neurodegeneration.
Meaning your brain is going the opposite way.
Yeah,
you're not getting smarter, you're getting dumber.
Yeah, your cells are basically just like kind of just getting killed off or wasting away.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and that's exactly what Parkinson's and Alzheimer's is, right? So
well, yeah, and there was a study over here that it's a much shorter article, but it talks about how nicotine was a cause. How basically they saw that smokers have less. There's a inverse relationship between smokers and Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, like you said, which led them to do the study on nicotine, and that's how we found out that
this was what it was.
Let's do a cheers really quick because
chin cheers.
Hopefully this is good. I kind of just whipped these up.
Cheers, chin chin, salud. Let's try these out. Are these martini like stemless martini glasses?
Oh, okay.
Not bad.
Not bad.
A little smoky.
It is. It's the smoked bitters.
Oh.
Yeah, that's all I had was smoked bitters, so it's a little smoky.
Definitely smoky.
Smoky. I figured, hey, we're smoking cigars. But yeah, these are stemless martini glass, so you can keep them in ice.
Is this what these little square things are for?
Yeah, to keep them in ice, so it stays cold.
All right, so what article do we want to start off with first? I think we start off with this one. It's this is from let's see what.
Wow, this is an interesting word right here. I didn't mean to cut you off, but nicotinic.
Yeah,
nicotinic All right, here's you want to hear a little mumbo jumbo. Nicotinic restoration of excitatory neuroplasticity is linked to improved implicit motor learning skills in deprived smokers.
If you look at my pages here, you'll see writing all over because as I'm reading these big ass words, I have no idea.
Googling them.
I'm literally Googling as I read them. So like neuroplasticity.
Let's backtrack. So the reason why these articles are like this is because these are in medical journals and these are scientifically written.
Oh yeah.
So this is for somebody who is studying, neurodegeneration or studying cognitive ability.
Like
so it's filled with a lot of chemical compounds. It's filled with a lot of the
I googled
medicinal vocabulary. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of shit in here that like pharmacokinetics or
here we go, NACHR, which
transcranial direct current stimulation. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of stuff that is filled in that
we said
is a chemical compound that makes all these words. So we tried to dumb it down for the layman's.
So the first term, right? Neuroplasticity. What does that actually mean? It's the ability of the nervous system. This is what I wrote down. Ability of the nervous system to change its activity in response to intrinsic or extrinsic stimuli by recognizing its structure, function, or connecting after injury, such as stroke or traumatic brain injury.
So it's your body's ability to repair brain cells and brain function after an injury.
That's what it sounds like to me. Right,
and it's more so. It's more specifically I guess what's the word? What do they call it?
Oh, stimulus, right? Or stimuli?
No, but what's the word? An injury to the brain. So stroke, brain hemorrhage, things like that. It's your body's ability to repair itself.
Yeah. So intrinsic stimuli is like natural. I guess stimulation, right? Or natural causes, and then extrinsic meaning like coming from the outside or
trauma,
third party, like someone punching you in the face.
Intrinsic meaning your body, like a stroke came from the inside, right? Brain hemorrhage came, but extrinsic meaning you got in a car accident, you had a blunt force trauma to the head.
Exactly. So here's the first two sentences of this article here. So nicotine has been shown to modulate, which I also googled means regulate. Neuroplasticity, cognition, and learning processes in smokers and non-smokers. A possible mechanism for its effect on learning and memory formation is its impact on long-term depression and long-term potentiation. Let's see. Nicotine abstinence in smokers is often correlated with impaired cognitive performance, as neuroplasticity is closely connected to learning and memory formations. We aim to explore the effect of nicotine spray administration in deprived smokers on paired associative stimulation, induced neuroplasticity, and on performance of the serial reaction time task, a sequential motor learning paradigm. Yeah, and that goes into all this mumbo jumbo. The results indicate that a restored effect of nicotine spray in deprived smokers on both like neuroplasticity and motor learning. These results present a possible explanation of persistence of nicotine addiction and probability of relapse. I just read all that. I don't know what that fucking means. I thought it was something, but
no. So what we did with these articles is, what I like to do is a lot of times there's the you go to the discussion, right? You go to the conclusions, you go to the results. If you just want to hear what happened, because a lot of them
cliff notes.
The middle stuff is the experiment going on. If you really want to read it, we'll link it. You can read it. But
yeah, but let's credit this. This is from this study's from May 28th, 2018, and it's from what's this article here? This is from Frontiers. Oh, Frontiers in Neurology. Frontiersin.org. There you go. This is where this article's from. So, anyways, as you continue.
So they were saying, here. So the general remarks, I mean, there's a bunch right here, but they basically said that the results were in favor of observations where nicotine spray could normalize your attention, your memory, your, what they put, quote, computational processing, so your ability to calculate and equate things in your brain. Mm-hmm. They said that the nicotine spray, so in this case, in this study, they used a spray, but they said that nicotine was able to enhance all of those things in both smokers and non-smokers. More specifically, they said, okay, smokers that they deprived of smoking, they gave them nicotine to offset the lack of nicotine from smoking, and they said that it was able to bring their levels back, their cognitive functions back up.
And you could take, like, when we're talking about nicotine, we're not talking about cigarettes. Like, there's straight up nicotine, like, tablets, or you can take orally. Like, people take nicotine just to get a little kick. That's just straight up nicotine, not, like, with carcinogens and freaking cigarettes. I mean, cigars are full on nicotine.
There was another interesting thing in one of the other articles I want to bring up, too, that we'll talk about. It's kind of onto a different topic. But they also mentioned in here that similar results have also been found in overnight nicotine abstinent schizophrenic patient. So what they're saying is that overnight nicotine abstinent schizophrenic patients, meaning they took away nicotine overnight and then gave them the spray, and it said it enhanced attention and spatial working memory. So for schizophrenics, if people don't know what schizophrenics are, they're multiple personalities back and forth,
and it's literally a nicotine spray. Like when I was reading it, I'm like, what do they mean nicotine spray? It's literally a canister that you spray nicotine on your tongue. Yes, it's
so anyway, but that was one article where they talking about the,
and we'll put all these
deprived smokers, but there was an interesting, so this is like really, really in detail, but then this one comes up. And this one is systematic review of nicotine exposure's effect on neural stem and progenitor cells. So this is another article.
And this is from Brain Sciences.
So this is where I was saying before, they had the inverse correlation between smoking and Parkinson's disease and later Alzheimer's disease as well, motivated investigation of nicotine as a neuroprotector. So they're saying because they found, what I mentioned to you before, is because they found that smokers typically had less cases of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, they figured, let's do a study. Maybe that's nicotine, because we're thinking that nicotine is a neuroprotector. So they did the study on it. And then they came that some studies have demonstrated that nicotine elicits improvements in cognitive function. So it enhances your cognitive function.
Which is pretty wild.
And it possibly offers neuroprotection against neurodegenerative conditions, which is what you were saying before. Many studies have sought to elucidate the effect of nicotine and neuroplasticity. Again, they're talking about how nicotine can be a neuroprotector. And they actually talk about why it does that.
Justin got a little extra reading in while I was setting up the student before.
Yeah, and I highlighted it. I highlighted it somewhere. They talked about
which page?
Hold on, let me find it here. Bear with us a second. And it says nicotine is chemically similar to acetylcholine, which is a neurotransmitter in the brain that declines in Alzheimer's disease. Drugs such as Aricept help people with Alzheimer's by boosting brain levels of acetylcholine. Apparently, nicotine binds to the receptors in the brain normally occupied by acetylcholine, which benefits people who need more, but has no apparent effect on those who don't. So it's saying that it acts in the same way that this other neurotransmitter in the brain acts.
Yeah, and this is from Tampa Bay Times, which says study finds nicotine safe, helps in Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. So, they talk about smoking, of course, damages the lungs and blood vessels, aka cigarettes for the most part, and contributes to an array of health problems. But nicotine, the common chemical that cigarettes deliver, might actually be good for aging brain. Smokers, for example, are less likely to develop Alzheimer's disease, a phenomenon that has long puzzled scientists because smoking contributes to cardiovascular disease, which strongly increases the risk of Alzheimer's. But closer investigation revealed that smoking doesn't confer the protection nicotine does, which is pretty wild. A study of Alzheimer's patients showed that those who wore nicotine patches were better able to remember and pay attention to those who didn't. Another study showed that nicotine boosted cognitive functions in older people who didn't have Alzheimer's but were showing signs of age-related mental decline. So if you're feeling a little woozy, if you're feeling like your memory is starting to fade away, don't take Prevagen. Just put a nicotine patch on your arm.
Smoke a stogie. There was another interesting thing, and this is kind of going off on a different tangent. So we can just continue to beat this, dead horse here.
But I wanted to talk about this because now I want to re-bring up what we talked about from.
Okay, so then I'll save this because this is a totally different topic.
Yeah, hold on. Let me.
But the main premise is that they started the study and they found that nicotine acts like this other chemical that is a neurotransmitter in the brain, and it acts the same way to protect the brain against stress, against injury. And they're saying, in this case, an injury could be Alzheimer's and Parkinson's because it's the degenerative disease of the brain. And they're saying nicotine acts as a neuroprotector, which can prevent Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and other neurodegenerative disorders, which is why you don't see it as much in smokers.
Just to reiterate, we're not talking about cigarettes. Like, we're just talking straight up nicotine.
No, this study is about nicotine spray, but they're saying that there was a correlation between people who smoked,
yes,
and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, which led them to believe.
But what I'm
that
trying to say
nicotine,
is, like, we're not saying like smoke cigarettes and you feel better.
No, we're saying smoke cigars.
Yeah, well, that right, because then if you clip this up and people are like, really, bro, cigarettes are gonna help.
There was a guy on Joe Rogan that. Joe Rogan went through. He's like, "Are you saying the cigarettes are good for you?" He goes, "Well." He's like, "Listen,
no, that's two bears, one cave. That was
it? No, there was another guy on Joe Rogan that said it too.
Oh, okay.
I think this is all like this might be a trending topic because I noticed it on multiple podcasts where they talk about it. That nicotine is a neuroprotector,
and I want to bring it back up from a couple episodes ago from our guy Kevin Amaram, who's again a real estate agent out in Ontario, Canada. So if you need real estate in Ontario, reach out to Kevin.
I'm going to look this up really quick because we were just talking about...
Because this puts his theory into place here. So he said, so nicotine is the most neuroprotective compound known to man, which we've been talking about. I think they'll eventually outlaw anything containing nicotine and then rebrand nicotine to sell to Alzheimer's patients and to prevent them from degrading further. The oldest people in the world were either cigarette or pipe smokers. As you know, cigar and pipe smokers make up an extremely small amount of the population. So just put that into perspective. But yeah, I thought it was pretty wild because then, relating this back to cigars, as we always say, and which is factually a fact. When you smoke a cigar, it is straight tobacco, which contains nicotine. So, I've personally felt more in tuned, more focused. Maybe not right now because we're like discussing, like we're talking, we're this and that. But like if I smoke a cigar, if I'm studying or writing something down, or if I'm even like working on a podcast,
oh yeah,
I noticed I'm a little more like hyper focused and like tuned in to what's going on.
It could also, I'm also more relaxed, so I'm less stressed. So my brain is more functions better.
Yeah, you're not...
You know what I'm saying, too? So on top of the fact that you have the nicotine that enhances brain function, you also have less stress. It's reducing the stress. It's reducing your cloudiness and relaxing you more so that you can think clearly.
So, like I said, having some trouble with I'm going to do a commercial right now. Ready? Having trouble with memory loss? Don't take Prevagen. Use a nicotine patch. Or even better, smoke a cigar. Thanks. Your wordly advice from Eric, Brother Cigar.
Oh, well, here's another article. I just Googled something. I just wanted to see nicotine neuroprotector and see what happens. And it said, and this is actually from the article, nicotine has demonstrated neuroprotective abilities upon binding NACHRs, whatever that is, on numerous cells throughout the brain.
I did look that up somewhere.
So it says acting therapeutically by inducing defense mechanisms against pathology causing Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, and other neuroinflammatory conditions. So it basically acts as a defense mechanism. But if you scroll further down, there's another one that says current evidence for neuroprotective effects of nicotine and caffeine. Huh? Cigars and coffee are the fucking cure for everything? So,
say it again. I didn't hear what you said.
It says current evidence. This is from PubMed, National Library of Medicine. I was fucking weird because the acronym is NIH, but then it says National Library of Medicine. So I'm like, that's NLM, not NIH. Anyway, it says the title is Current Evidence for Neuroprotective Effects of Nicotine and Caffeine Against Parkinson's Disease. Mm-hmm. So it says Parkinson's disease, the second most common neurodegenerative disorder affecting 1 to 3% of individuals over the age of 65. While effective therapy exists for treating bradykinesia, rigidity, and tremor associated with the disease, the cause is unknown. There's no treatment available, blah, blah, blah. So it says nicotine has been shown in animals to stimulate the release of dopamine in the striatum and to preserve nigral neurons and striatal dopamine. That's a whole bunch of crap. Coffee and caffeine consumption have also been shown in epidemiological studies to be inversely related to PD risk. Caffeine is an adenosine receptor antagonist that enhances locomotor activity in animal modes of Parkinson. So, ooh, that one got right in my eyeball. What'd you do? Turn that off? What's that? All right, so I'm going through all this crap, blah, blah, blah. But let me see if I have. So what they're saying is...
My bad. I had to turn the fan on to get the smoke out.
So it says, evidence for the neuroprotective potential of nicotine and caffeine is compelling, but further work is needed before the testing. Clinical trials.
So you said something about animals and humans, right?
So exciting findings are emerging that demonstrate attenuation of dopaminergic neurotoxicity with caffeine and other adenosine receptor antagonists in mice given. Okay, so they go really deep in.
I fucking put the fan backwards. Look at the smoke.
Dude, that's what happened. You put the fan, I'm like, blew like right in my eyeballs. So they're saying that that nicotine has been shown in animals. It says to stimulate the release of dopamine in the striatum and to preserve, I think this word is nigral neurons and striatal dopamine levels in laboratory animals with lesioned nigrostriatal pathways. So I'm guessing, so if I understand this correctly, they've cut the pathways and nicotine has been shown to help preserve these pathways. Okay?
Yeah. Because
then they're saying that
going back to that, going back to studies in humans, right? Going back to this article from Frontiers, it says studies in animals and humans have shown improvement in attention, working, and episodic memory induced via application of nicotine. Basically correlating what you just said.
So then they're saying, and then they say caffeine is an adenosine receptor antagonist that enhances locomotor activity in animal models of Parkinsonism. So this whole section basically says that nicotine can help prevent it, and then caffeine can help with your locomotor ability if you have it. So the combination of the two can help prevent Parkinson's. Can help prevent and treat Parkinson's.
That's crazy. It's really crazy.
Cigars and coffee, man. Fuck. Cigars and coffee.
But going back to saying, the people who last the longest are pipe smokers and cigar smokers, relatively speaking. And I'm sure a high percentage of those people who do smoke pipe tobacco and smoke cigars probably drink coffee too.
Okay, and now here's another thing, a totally different topic that I want to bring up because we're at 32 minutes. But okay. We had an episode about the taxes. Okay?
Yeah.
We're talking about why are you taxing cigars when people don't chain smoke cigars? Kids are not chain smoking cigars. Kids are smoking weed. They're smoking cigarettes. They're smoking vape pens. Okay. In one of these articles, they had talked about vape pens. They call them ENDS. They call them ENDS.
Yes.
And ENDS stands for Electronic Nicotine Delivery Systems, also known as e-cigarettes. So like these
e-cigs.
E-cigs. I guess vape pens have nicotine in them, I'm assuming.
Vape pens either have like nicotine and chemicals, or vape pens have or straight up weed pens.
Okay, so in the case of the nicotine vape pens and e-cigs, they did a study, and it says that research studies report that youth who use and may have blah 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 in 2019.
In 2019,
over 5 million United States middle and high school students had reported using electronic nicotine delivery system, using e-cigarettes and vapes.
Shocker.
In the past 30 days. Including 10.5% of middle school students. Middle school is from the age of like
6th grade to 8th grade.
10 to 14. So 12-year-olds, 10% of 12-year-olds have used e-cigarettes and vape pens, and 27.5% of high school. Over 1 out of every 4 high school students use nicotine pens, vape pens, e-cigarettes.
How sick would it be? I don't know if the word is sick, but if we could get like the approval from a middle school or high school, right? And we bring a cigar like this, we bring an e-cig, and we bring a vape, and we just sit at a table, and we'll come up with some funky sign to attract kids over, and we'll say, hey, if you wanted one of these things, and not obviously give it to them, but I would say, which one do you want out of all 3 of these? And just have, I want A.
Yeah.
I want B. I want A. And just take a fucking tally and see how many kids pick a fucking Churchill cigar. My guess, less than 5%.
Yeah. So I read this and I go, wait a second. 10% middle school, 10-year-olds, 11, 12, 13-year-olds, because when you're 14, you move into high school.
Yeah.
14, 15, 16, 17, right? In some cases, 18. But 10, 11, 12, and 13-year-olds, 10% are using vape pens.
That's crazy.
10%. And then this one, high school. 1 out of every 4 high school students are using vape pens, e-cigarettes.
You know what? We're getting Josh Habersky on in the next couple of weeks.
Fucking crazy.
And he's the one who gave us that statistic that, overall tobacco sales, premium cigar sales are 0.5%, right? So with all these new articles and statistics and episodes that we've been doing, I'm really intrigued to start asking him what he thinks, what his information that he can allow us to have, and really just pick his brain regarding all this crazy shit, because we think about this stuff every day. In the grand scheme of things, no one really thinks about cigars, but people like us, we think about them every single day.
It's just wild when you think.
There's
the more that we read about like cigar smoking, the more the research backs the point that cigar smoking is good, and it goes against all of the hike in taxes, right? It backs the support that we say that cigars are better for your mental health. They're good for neuroprotectors. They're good for camaraderie. They're good
Parkinson's,
for depression.
Alzheimer's.
They're good for all of these different things. And more research we do, it backs up the point that kids aren't smoking them.
Mm-hmm.
Kids have no idea what cigars are, what premium cigars are. So why are the taxes going through the roof? Like,
I'll tell you
all the research backs cigar smoking. It backs us.
I'll tell you this. I didn't know anything other than a cigarette and weed. I knew about cigarettes and weed.
The old devil's lettuce.
That AK-47, that California Kush, that Pakistani Kush, that Pineapple Express,
that Kush. Purple palm tree delight.
And a ball like Reggie Bush. When I was growing up, in middle school and high school, all I knew was kids either smoked cigarettes or they smoked weed. Never, ever, ever, ever. Maybe when I was a senior, a senior in high school, I smoked Black and Milds.
Yeah, but that's not cigars, man.
But that's like the only like caveat, because that's what the argument is. But that was a closer thing to a cigar.
Yeah. Or you smoked one like with your pops in the backyard on a barbecue.
I would never think about showing up to a party with a freaking 6x52, a 7x52 cigar and going to a party. I'll think about people bringing cigarettes. Think about bringing weed, the bongs, the fucking bowls, the little tinfoil, and that
little
Kush, and I ball like Reggie Bush. Shout out to Lil Wayne.
Just fun to say Kush.
Yeah, and then right after you ball like Reggie Bush.
But no, you're right. You don't ever think about in high school. I never thought about cigars,
and that's what pisses a lot of people, us in the cigar world, like us, off. It's because cigars just like they just got like kind of get swept in. They're like, yeah, sure, you're just a part of it too. It's like you don't get any special privileges, and I don't know, man. It's a bunch of bullshit if you ask me. A bunch of bullshit.
It's wild how the things that doesn't make sense to push certain things and to limit and highly tax other things. For instance, the whole weed against cigars argument. They try to tax cigars out the fucking ass, and it's probably the lowest tax on weed is like 10%, 13%. Mm-hmm. They want to tax cigars at 85, 95. If they had it their way, they would tax them 100% across the board. But then you have weed that's 10%, 13%.
Well, I think a big part of that too is because, a lot more lobbyists and financial gain in the weed industry. Get off the weed, Stephen A. Smith. But again, we put up a clip the other day or a couple weeks ago talking about that, and people are like, cigars don't kill people, or cigars or weed doesn't kill people, or cigars are way worse. And I'm like, we're not arguing.
Cigars don't kill people.
But I'm like, we're not arguing whether cigars or weed kills people or one's worse than the other. We're not saying that. We're saying you're taxing one way, way more that affects your cognitive ability, affects your decision-making ability.
Yes.
If you're driving in a car and you're smoking weed and you get pulled over, you're going to get a DUI, where if you're smoking a cigar, it doesn't affect your cognitive ability. If anything, it helps. It doesn't help. It doesn't alter your decision-making skills. It only can maybe help, a.k.a. Winston Churchill fucking killing it in battle, smoking 1 million cigars a day. And if you're smoking a cigar in a car and a cop pulls you over, you're just going to say you smell like shit. You smell like an ashtray.
And that's my point, is the things that, like, they're going after such a small substrata of...
Whoa, what the hell was that? Sir, I'll buy that word for $10. Substrata. Whatever the fuck that you just said.
They go after such a small substrata of the quote-unquote smoking industry and try to tax that through the roof, when it's certainly not going to make you that much money if you tax the cigars, because, like Joshua Habersky says, it accounts for less than 0.5% of all the tobacco if you include cigarettes and all that other crap, the non-premium cigars. So you're going to tax the premium cigars, but you're not even really going to make that much money off it because it's only less than 0.5%. So how much are you really making on this tax hike? And two, it doesn't negatively affect your cognitive ability. So why are you trying to tax something really high? Because I would assume that if something affected your ability to make decisions, if it affected it negatively, then I can say, okay, yeah, we probably want to tax that higher because we want people to do that less because it's causing all of these accidents. But that's not the case with cigars.
But then that whole argument can go out the window because liquor and alcohol is barely taxed.
But that's my point. My point exactly is, if you were trying to go after if you wanted to make an impact on, like, for instance, alcohol, how many accidents or drunk drivers kill people in the United States? Right, it's a lot. So if anything, you should tax alcohol higher.
I think I also read that in the amount of deaths in the country, alcohol has been responsible for half the deaths.
Probably,
just in general, whether it's driving, fighting, shooting,
right.
Alcohol,
and that's what I'm saying. So if you're gonna tax something, why don't you tax something that, one, has a huge market,
or not even tax it at all? Everyone's a grown-ass adult. All fucking grown-ass men. People can make decisions for themselves. If you're going on the aspect of, saving, making the society and the community safer, I get that too.
No, but I was also saying, like, if you're trying to, like, there's really no reason, there's nothing backing the tax in cigars, right? Because if you were going to say, hey, you know what, we need to figure out a way, because a tax is basically how the government makes money. Okay, right? That's how the government makes
How
money.
else would they make money?
Aside from fucking printing it, okay, and just sending billions of dollars everywhere, it's how they make money. It's tax, okay? So if you said, hey, we need to make some more money, you could, okay, what do we already tax, or what is there a big market for? And if we increase the tax by 1%, we'll make a shit ton of money because the Americans are buying $1 billion worth of this. So if we raise the tax 1% of $1 billion is 10 million bucks, right? But you're going to try to raise the tax on a small market. Cigars account for less than 0.5%. So you're going to raise the tax. You're not making any fucking money. So if the argument was, hey, we want to make some more money, that argument goes out the window because there's plenty of other things. If the argument was, hey, we want to go after something that messes up your brain function and hinders your ability to make decisions, that argument goes out the window because cigars don't do that. If anything, they enhance it. So I don't understand why they go after it so much.
I don't either. It's like, if product A is the cash cow and product B is barely selling, but then they start, you know what, fuck it. Let's start taxing product B over product A. But why? Product B is not even making any money.
Yeah.
Why? You're not making any money there. If you want to tax more, tax product A and you'll make more because it's a fucking cash cow.
Yeah, and you can even, if you want to do the numbers, right? You can do, let's say, to your example, product A. Let's say product A makes $1 million a year. Just say makes $1 million a year. Product B makes
100,000
less. Let's say because product B is, if we're comparing
easy, 10,000. Make easy
10,000.
Numbers,
okay,
right? Easy numbers.
Product A makes $1 million a year. Product B makes 10,000. If you tax product B at, let's say you increase the tax to 20%. Say 20%. 20% of $10,000, okay, is
$2,000.
$2,000. So you're going to make $2,000. If you raise the tax on the $1 million 1%, so 20 times less than the product B tax, 1% of $1 million,
$10,000
is $10,000.
And you're making.
So you're making
half.
The increase in tax is 20 times less than the increase over here, but you're making 5 times more in revenue. So I don't understand, why are you going after such a small fucking substrata of the tobacco industry?
Wait, if you tax it, you're making it'd be the opposite. If it's
you tax 1% of $1 million.
10,000
is $10,000. So you're profiting $10,000 on a 1% tax. But if you have $10,000 worth of product that you tax 20%, you make $2,000 on the $10,000. Yeah, so here you tax it with product B, you tax it 20% and make $2,000. Product A, you tax 1% and you make $10,000. So you're taxing them less percentage and making 5 times as much money. So I go, I don't get it. I don't get it. Why don't you fucking raise the tax double on cigarettes 2%? Raise the tax on vape pens 2%. Raise the tax on e-cigarettes 2%. Instead of raising cigars 30, 40, 50%.
Well, do that example with 0.5%, right? $1 million, and so
we can do it right now. Let's here. I'll do it. Do it right now. Fuck it.
We're going live.
All right,
we'll do it live.
All right.
Fuck it.
2 hours later.
So you're telling me, you're going to raise tobacco, so $410 million is up 0.5%. So you're telling me after all this, I know.
You just went in.
I'm going in. I'm numbers guy, and I'll cut most of this. You're telling me cigars account for about $400 million in revenue, and you're going to increase the tax, right? If you increase to 10%, you're only going to make an additional $39 million off of that. But cigarettes, if you increased cigarettes 0.5%, not 1%, not 5, not 10, 0.5%, you would make $410 million. You'd make
10 times roughly.
Literally make 10 times the revenue.
That's fucking wild, bro.
10 times the revenue for a 20 times less of an increase.
Who's the CFO for the fucking American government, huh?
I'm like, I don't.
What are they doing?
I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Well, because I really,
And they're talking about raising it from 75 to 95, 20%. They're trying to hike it 20%. I'm like, if you hiked it 20%, that 0.5%, you're still making more money. I don't. It blows my mind why they go after such a small portion
for those fucking small guys.
I'm sorry, it took me a long time to get there. I'm going to cut most of that crap out and then just say, like, this is the number, blah, 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 and then come with the final number because it's just...
It's a lot. It's fucking shit ton, bro. It's a fucking shit ton. I think we just sign, seal, deliver it, end it right fucking there.
Dude...
Leave on that note.
I just can't believe that.
Digest that.
Premium cigars, 400 million. Cigarettes, 82 billion.
Stupid.
Bro.
Facts.
Fucking just it's just unreal.
Mathematical facts, boy.
So that's going to do it for us here at the Burn Down.
If you like
Justin.
if you like Justin's math,
I'm sorry, I get in sometimes, man.
No, it's good to break it down. Let the people know.
Because sometimes I feel like, I love numbers and I love breaking it down because sometimes I don't think people really understand. Like when we say 0.5%, we're trying to explain this when you go up, they don't really understand. I think the good point what you brought up was you got company A and you got company B. That was a great analogy. We did the numbers for company A and company B. Company A is cigarettes, company B is cigars. And we did the fucking numbers. And it's exactly the example that we...
If you guys like this video, if you guys like this podcast, hit that like button, please. Hit that subscribe button. And hit that bell so you get notified every time we drop a new short, which is almost every day at this point. A YouTube short.
It's literally every day, sometimes twice a day.
Yeah, or a regular YouTube video. Give us 5 stars on all the podcast platforms. If you think it's worth it, give us a nice little comment. Become a member on our podcast.
You're talking very softly.
Reaching 90 members. Almost at that 100 member mark. $5 a month, exclusive discounts. And into monthly giveaways, you get 15% off our cigar, The Blueprint. And, just continue us to show your boys love. We appreciate all the feedback, all the engagement, all the messages, and it's just fun doing this stuff. So thank you guys and gals, as per usual. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Chin chin. Salud.